Hey everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome back to my subscribers. This is Bald Guy Money. I am Bald Guy, and today I want to share 3 extremely bullish signs for gold and silver. The market has been very shaky lately, but if you want confirmation that metals are poised for a comeback, be sure to watch this video to the very end because this is all fact-based, no bull, no made-up numbers. As always, this is not advice, and please take a moment right now to leave me a like. That is your way of telling YouTube what you think is important and what you think other people should be seeing. So let's get into it. As promised, I have 3 bullish signs for the price of gold and the price of silver. And the first one is a story that has been circulating around on YouTube over the last couple weeks. I've seen it on a lot of channels, and I will cover it in brief, but it is a potentially important development for gold and silver should it materialize. And this is the story. And it is basically covering the fact that Brics countries are posing a challenge, or at least planning to pose a challenge, to the US dollar with a commodity-backed currency. So if you've been following this story, you'll know that Russia and China are basically looking to create a new reserve currency backed by a basket of commodities to replace the US dollar to be able to mitigate the threat of Western sanctions and shift a bit more economic power in their direction. And although we don't know the split of commodities required to support this proposed new currency, we do know that gold and silver will be a major part of it, which makes sense considering that Brics countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa are major players in the precious metals game. Now, this is bullish for 2 reasons, and the first is based on the fact that Russia has said gold and silver should be valued at $37 and $2,400 respectively per troy ounce, meaning that in theory there is a 97% upside to be had on silver from where we're at today and a 39% upside on the price of gold if you take them at their word. The second reason, and I suppose this is actually the vehicle that will get those prices there, is this. The proposed Moscow Metals Exchange, which is supposed to be an alternative to the London Bullion Exchange, from which Russia is now banned. And this is important for anyone who thinks the COMEX and London Bullion Exchange are manipulating the price of precious metals in the downward direction. Because a competitive exchange run by a country whose interest is to have higher gold prices, Russia being the 5th largest gold producer in the world, would in theory break the existing metals monopoly and reduce, if not totally eliminate, price manipulation. Now, the second bullish story surrounding the price of precious metals revolves around this guy. For those of you who watch Kitco, you'll recognize this is Gareth Soloway, president of In the Money Stocks and purported owner of a crystal ball, because this man has been so accurate with his market predictions that I would expect maybe even Warren Buffett is a bit jealous of his recent track record. And for those of you who don't know who he is, it's enough to say that this guy is a realist in the sincerest sense of the word. He correctly called for Bitcoin to retrace back down to $20,000 while it was still above $60,000, and many people were saying that it's going, or at least headed, to $100,000. He also accurately predicted inflation and the current recession we're in, and to be perfectly honest with you, the list of things he's accurately predicted over the last 1.5 to 2 years goes on and on and on, and I highly suggest you watch some of his older clips on Kitco to get a true sense of what he knows about the market in order to understand exactly how important what I'm about to say actually is. Because according to him, gold is an underinvested asset right now, and mainly he's talking about gold when he's talking about the price of precious metals. And he's saying that gold is so much so, at least underinvested, I should say, that he is calling for a rapid rise in the price of gold at some time over the next 2 to 3 years, which he says will bring the price of gold up to $5,000 per troy ounce, meaning that from today's price, we're talking about a 189% upside on the price of gold. And no matter what you invest in, 189% return over a 2 to 3 year period is an absolutely fantastic return on investment. Now to bullish sign number 3. And I covered this in my first ever Instagram reel this past week. And if you're not following me on Instagram and want a little bit of more bite-sized content on the go, you can follow me right here. This is how you find me on Instagram. And what I covered in that reel is the strength of the dollar and how it is important for those who purchase gold and silver with US dollars. So, as you can see here, the dollar in relation to a basket of other currencies, which is measured by this index, this is the DXY index, also known as the Dixie index, is up significantly. And I've been talking about this growing strength for a while on the channel now. And the reason I've been making such a big deal out of this is because as the dollar increases in strength, things that are priced in dollars, like gold or oil, usually come down in dollar terms as a result. And of course, there are multiple factors that dictate the price development of a commodity over time. I'm not saying this is the only one, and this is not a perfectly inverse correlation. But as it stands today, the dollar index is telling us something that I interpret as being extremely bullish for both gold and silver over the short to midterm, I should say, and I'm going to use gold as an example to illustrate why this is. So take a look at this. As you can see here on top, this is gold over the past 12 months valued in US dollars. And we are down about 4% over that time in US dollar terms. And although it's been enough to significantly outperform the S&P 500, that's nothing when you look at the gold performance just below in euros, which is actually the largest reserve currency after the US dollar, which is up a staggering 13% over the last 12 months in a horrible market. And what I want to say here is that although the dollar has been the preferred safe haven for investors looking to hedge against economic uncertainty, there is some upside already built into the price of gold, as well as other commodities priced in dollars once the dollar at some point slowly moves back to equilibrium versus other foreign currencies. Or on the flip side, commodities simply start to catch up to dollar performance as Gareth Soloway's scenario plays out on the commodities market, specifically for gold. Now, I'm not done just yet because I have 2 additional bullish indicators that suggest the price of silver is going to go up in line with my 2026 price prediction and potentially even surpass it. And if you're interested in hearing what those indicators are, please let me know in the comments right now, and I will do my best to make that video as quickly as possible, if there's enough demand for it, to share that information with you all as soon as possible, as I said. But until then, I have something special I want to share with you all in this episode. I am certain you have all heard of the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. And although I am not a fan of monarchies, and I personally think that my home country, Canada, should use this moment to reevaluate its relationship with the British monarchy, the face of Queen Elizabeth II is one that is very familiar to many of us who are in the stacking community, especially those of us who stack Canadian, British, or Australian coins, or even coins from any other Commonwealth countries, as you'll see in a moment. So without addressing any controversy or engaging in any political debate, I simply want to share her portrait as it appears on some different coins I have as a tip of the hat to someone who I am certain tried her best to serve her people, and in my opinion, to be perfectly honest with you all, trying your best is really half of the battle. So here are those coins to say goodbye. I'm wishing you all a fantastic day ahead. See you in the next one. Here are the portraits.